Before the Civil War officially began, the tension in the country had already reached a breaking point. For years, disagreements over power, economy, and the future direction of the nation were growing silently. People often think the war started suddenly, but in reality, it was the result of long-term pressure building beneath the surface. Leaders were making quiet decisions, forming alliances, and preparing for a conflict they knew was coming. Ordinary citizens could feel something was wrong, but very few understood how deep the divisions really were. This hidden buildup is one of the biggest secrets, because by the time the first shots were fired, the outcome was already being shaped by years of unseen conflict. When the war finally started, both sides believed it would end quickly. There was confidence, even overconfidence, among leaders and soldiers. But this was a huge miscalculation. Early battles revealed confusion, poor planning, and lack of clear strategy. Behind the scenes, leaders struggled with pressure, fear, and uncertainty. Some decisions were rushed, while others were delayed due to disagreements. The public saw bravery on the battlefield, but they did not see the chaos behind leadership. This phase of the war shows how human mistakes and overconfidence turned what could have been a short conflict into a long and devastating one. As the war continued, it became more strategic and more secretive. This is where one of the most fascinating hidden aspects comes in, the world of spies and intelligence. Both sides began relying heavily on secret information. Spies risked their lives to gather details about enemy plans, troop movements, and weaknesses. Messages were sent in code, and sometimes even ordinary people played a role without realizing it. Battles were not just fought with weapons, but with information. In many cases, the side with better intelligence had the upper hand. This silent war of secrets played a major role in shaping key victories and defeats. As time went on, it became clear that the war would not be won by courage alone. Economic strength started to play a decisive role. One side had stronger industries, better transportation systems, and more resources to keep the war going. Railroads, factories, and supply chains became as important as soldiers on the battlefield. While people focused on dramatic battles, the real power was often hidden in production and logistics. This was a turning point in the war, showing that modern conflicts are not just fought by armies, but by entire systems working behind them. When the war finally came to an end, there was relief, but not true peace. The fighting had stopped, but the deeper issues were still there. The country had changed, but it was not yet healed. Leaders now faced a new challenge: how to rebuild and move forward. This period revealed another hidden truth: winning a war is not the same as solving the problems that caused it. Many of the decisions made after the war were complicated, and some created new tensions instead of resolving old ones. The end of the war was not a clean conclusion, but the beginning of a difficult new chapter. The most powerful secret of the Civil War is that its impact never truly ended. It changed how people think about identity, power, and unity. The effects of the war continued for generations, shaping society, politics, and culture in ways that are still visible today. What makes this story truly important is not just what happened during the war, but what happened after it. The Civil War was more than a historical event, it was a transformation. And when we look deeper, we realize that the real story is not just about the past, but about how those hidden decisions and struggles continue to influence the present world.